Okay, I just want to be 100. I messed up. Okay, so me and my husband, we had like this great vacation. You know, we had a nice family meeting and everything. And then yesterday I got like super overstimulated. I got super touched out and I shut down. Like I just got quiet and I was just like real reserved. And he kept asking me, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? And I was like, you know, just annoyed by a million different things, and a million things are rushing through my head, right? And he was just like, you know, what's going on? What's happening? You know, are you okay? Can I get you cake, ice cream? Like he's offering all these things, and I'm like annoyed because like I asked for help with like parting my daughter's hair, and like nobody stepped up. And it'd be like that one little thing, and it just like blows everything else out, right? So I just completely shut down. And then from then on, I was just like super petty. And I did some things that are like super petty for me. But they're things that like we both done in the past, and we're like trying to start this new slate, right? So he's like, you know, he's upset because I'm upset and I'm not communicating with him. So we're just like, there's just like this rift here, right? And he takes the girls to school this morning, and I work out this morning, and he's like handling his business and I'm handling business on my side. And then we get on the phone and it's like we're both still at odds, and I'm trying to share my perspective and he's like trying to share his, and we're just like just going back and forth, right? And then it just comes to the point where like, how can we get past this? What can we do? What can we do? I'm like, my only thought was, why don't we just treat each other how we want to be treated? Like, seriously. And I think sometimes in relationships, friendships, or whatever, sometimes you put up these defenses so hard. You know, you've tried so many times and it feels like you failed. And it's like, is it even worth it? Or is this person even considering me? You know? But in a relationship, like, you really just gotta let go, and you have to grace people through some shit, right? And your love has to cover stuff, right? And his love covers me and my love covers him when we fail, or when we like falter, or we come off, right? And I'm sitting here like picking up my medication, you know, doing a meeting and everything, headed to this meeting, and I was sitting here thinking like, if we consider each other's perspectives more often, if we just tried our best, like no matter what's ever happened in the past, once you've forgiven and you're like trying to like push through, I feel like forgiveness is it's a constant thing. Sometimes like your brain will make you think like, okay, but what have they done? Like they did this before, or they did that before. But if you've forgiven something, and you truly like, if you're working toward forgiveness and ownership and accountability, you have to sometimes forgive multiple times. Like you have to say, I forgave that. Like, no, I'm giving that, I gave that to God. Like, you know, I would not want him to do this to me, so I'm not going to do it to him, right? Versus, oh, he did this before and I've done this before, and we just gonna keep this cycle going. And that takes a level of like self-awareness and accountability, and then also like allowing your partner to see your flaws and call you out on your shit, because that's exactly what relationships are. Is like, you're going to see every flaw in your partner, and you got to let them. You have to let them see you, and then share it with you. And it's crazy because we were on the phone talking, and all we could hear each other's voices. But then we got on FaceTime, and it was like, I don't know, it's like the hostility was like, it just dropped, you know? Because I'm looking at this face of this man that's like, this imperfect man, right? He's looking at this imperfect woman, his wife, and we're just like, but I love you. But what can we do, you know? Oh my God, I did not want to cry. But the truth is, you know, I was being petty. You know, I was being a little petty. And he called me on my shit. And at first I'm like, but you did. But it's like, at what point are we going to just stop with that and just be like, okay, I don't like being hurt, so I'm not going to hurt you. And even though you've done that before, we agreed to start fresh. And that doesn't mean just fresh for one thing. It's like fresh for everything. It's like, and you might have to make that commitment every single morning to each other and remind each other, like, hey, this is a new day. We're starting fresh. Like, we're giving each other grace through this day. Like, these kids are in toddler stages. You know, everybody's in a different, like, we have this big blended family. We have life going on. But right now, we're just going to get through this day together. Not just on vacation, but like at home too, right? So anyways, it was just a level of awareness for myself. And my therapist has been telling me, like, you need to show up for yourself, right? But that doesn't mean like leaving people behind as you show up for yourself. That doesn't mean that doesn't give you permission to be rude or not be accountable, not be held accountable, you know. And regardless of what anybody else did, it doesn't give you an excuse to be an asshole or to shut down. Like, talk and communicate. And, you know, it's difficult coming from a trauma background, and we both have very different experiences, but I'm learning, you know, and I'm just grateful to be in a space where we can learn with each other. Like, we're in year 6 of marriage, you know, like, this is our 6th year we're about to make next month, and we want to make it there and like keep going, right? So it's going to take a lot of learning and unlearning, and that's the beauty of it. So I just want to encourage any couples out there or friendships out there that it hurts, you know, it can feel like triggers can feel so painful when you're in the middle of it. Healing hurts too. Things heal and they hurt as they heal. And I'm just grateful to be in a safe space to be able to heal. And that's it for today. I just had to get on here and say that I want to just start sharing, because it makes a big difference, and I'm learning, and I'm trying to be a better person, a better woman. I just don't want to be who I've always been, and every day I can make that choice to show up as her. So that's what I'm choosing to do. Yeah.